The mark of my dignity shall scar thy tears. Resurrection!
Wow. Absolutely beautiful.
You've got mail.
This is Magistrate M10. It's the update to Magistrate M9.
Well, in this new version of Magistrate, you can check the About Magistrate menu to see who made it.
You couldn't do that before?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, Bill Wilson did the graphics. A lot of loyalty from that guy for just a contractor. It's just amazing. But yeah, it's free as in freedom. It's it installs in a snap. It's just wonderful. So we're gonna check the awards for this year on Magistrate 10, and but first of all, let's check some desktop games. Fuck, damn it. What even is this?
Is this Count Balls?
It's Autistic fucking Ball Quest. It's a classic. I just don't know how to play it.
For some reason, I think this should have been called Clown Ball. These look like clown colors.
Like, they're the default Game Maker colors. I know that, but that's just a coincidence.
Well, that's enough Clown Ball.
Yeah. Okay. Let's check the character map. Oh.
Well, there's where they are.
Yeah,
There's the characters.
Okay. If you ever need to check, yeah, this the analog clock actually works this time.
Huh.
Yeah, it actually, like, the second hand actually moves like a 60th of a full rotation instead of a 10th. That was a problem with the old one. Yeah, let's do what any good computer does best. File System Explorer. Now the awards are somewhere in here.
Ah, you lost them. You stuck them somewhere.
They're somewhere in here.
Damn it. Oh, that one says awards. Try that one.
Oh wait, what's under memes? Oh.
Uh-oh.
What? These aren't the memes I remember.
Something happened. Did you leave these here, but when you updated from Magistrate M9?
Oh, yeah.
And they got screwed up when you went over to M10?
Yeah. M10 doesn't quite support all photo file types. It's just a minor flaw. But, ooh, let's see what's under the nography. Oh, god damn it. Oh, Christ. Whoever owns this belongs in hell. Alright, let's go back. Where the hell? Awards, right here. Yeah. Part 1. We got Development Hell, Stillborn, wonder what that is, Out to Pasture, and Welcome Home.
Huh. I wonder what that first one is. Let's find out.
The Development Hell Award. This is what, well, is best described by that term, let's say.
Oh my god, I never would have guessed.
Well, there was quite a few Development Hell situations in the 2016.
Yeah, but how many of those games started out as a different game?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15. Well, it was Final Fantasy Versus 13, so they went 2 games ahead.
Yep.
And it's still like they still couldn't quite finish it. considering how much bullshit it went through, it's a nice enough job, and it's a pretty good game. But
they're still trying to patch in what was supposed to be there now.
yeah,
And it's free though. Like actually today, at the moment of recording this, there's a new story update to the game. So and that's coming free too.
hmm
Yeah, with a totally new type of gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm gonna try it later on today probably.
Yeah.
It's hard to really compare this quite to any other game in terms of development hell. I mean, The Last Guardian also, conveniently enough, came out the same year as this. But The Last Guardian was always The Last Guardian. And it was radio silent for years. This one was actually... felt like it was constantly being mentioned and updated for about 10 years straight.
right.
Like, I never saw this leave the news cycle. I was waiting for this since it was Versus 13. That
Well,
was 2006.
There was also Doom 4,
Yeah.
which was in the works for much, much longer. But
That's an interesting point.
it's more like Doom 4 was dead for a very long time.
Yeah,
No one had any hope that was coming back.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. We will get to that later
Anyway,
to spoil things.
this game turned out to be okay. Like,
Yeah.
in a strange twist, Final Fantasy 15 and Last Guardian both turned out to be okay, even though they were in development since forever. And that's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
So check it
So,
out.
it's satisfactory. And it kind of like it should have stayed as a spin-off, but not in this case. But it's really a black sheep, and I think it fits as a black sheep. Maybe not as a main series game. But anyway, Stillborn. What came out that was defeated in one hit?
One hit KO.
One
The
hit.
Stillborn.
I can't believe it. It's so blatant and it's so sad.
It's like
Battleborn.
Battleborn was Stillborn. Oh my lord.
For some reason, Blizzard saw this game and decided, let's knock them out of the park.
This is
Because they hate their guts.
This is embarrassing. Nobody's playing it. It has a absolutely cringe-worthy marketing scheme.
Oh yeah.
It is a marketing scheme from, I want to say, like 2004, that they tried to adapt into 2017 logic, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
These terrible, old, forced, cringy memes stuck everywhere.
Well, the developer, what was it, Gearbox?
Yeah, Gearbox and Randy Pitchford.
Oh my
are
god,
absolutely shameless in their shilling, trying to get people
Yeah.
to try it.
they've been totally out of touch since Borderlands 1.
The only thing that I think Gearbox is making money off now is Borderlands, and I'm not totally sure why people keep buying that.
Yeah,
But-
it's even that series. Their main hit series has been on decline since the first game.
Battleborn was dick.
Then they made Battleborn.
Yeah,
Blizzard made Overwatch, which is the thing everyone talked about.
I know. Yeah,
And it was the exact same thing,
I know.
but just much better in every way.
More or less, yeah. The perception was that it was like the bargain bin version of a newer game that's already out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if this came out 10 years ago, it would have been good because it would have been far ahead of the curve. But now it's actually really far behind, and now they got Battleborn to contend with, Duke Nukem Forever to contend with, and Aliens Colonial Marine. What a track record.
out to pasture. This is the one that was good, but should probably be the last one.
Yeah, it's time for this to be put to bed.
And believe it or not, it's Dark Souls.
Can we all just let go of Dark Souls?
I think a lot of people want to. I mean, it has a dedicated fan base. Like those who are hooked on PvP probably don't want to see the series end, but I think after Dark Souls 3, we're looking to see new things from Software.
I was on the PlayStation Store earlier today, and I saw 2 different DLC packs that were cranked out for this game.
Mm-hmm.
And
I haven't bought
No.
a DLC for this game yet.
I don't know if I'm going to, because they're like $20 a pop, and I'm just saying to myself, do I really want to just do that same thing again? Like, it's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you roll, stab, you roll, and you stab, and you roll, and you stab, and put some gear on, put your shield up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Like, the gameplay is more or less the same for 3 games straight and Demon Souls. I'm kind of getting tired of this.
Yeah. It's so dependent on its aesthetic and like the bosses and everything that you can't just churn one out every time.
It's not hard anymore.
Every year.
I'm too used to it.
And it's not hard anymore.
It's not hard.
You get better at the game.
Yeah, I find people online, they say that if they're talking about a Souls game and they mention that this is the first one I tried, they always say that this is really hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else who's already tried once before and are a veteran to the series aren't challenged by anything anymore because mechanically they're not different enough. It doesn't quite apply to Bloodborne. I did have a hard time with a few things in Bloodborne, but as far as Dark Souls 3 went, I don't really remember even having a hard time in any of the bosses. The bosses were hard in that I might have to try 5 times, and then it's over.
Yeah.
That's it, really. I don't recall bashing my head against the wall like I did with Demon Souls, the first Dark Souls, and a few things in Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
This was more or less just...
It's really a good sign when you steamroll Dark Souls 3 and then you go back to Demon Souls and you realize how much easier that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you just get so good at it. It's not so much a fault of the game as
it's definitely it's a good quality of the game.
It's that they've trained you to do the same thing so well that you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm halfway through like a new game plus, a first cycle of new game plus on Dark Souls right now.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, well, I just beat it in about like 3 days a few weeks ago. I just decided to go back to Dark Souls 1 and beat it. Now I'm halfway through it again, and I beat Demon Souls a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can just run through them and remember. It trains you to remember every single area gimmick and every possible scenario.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how I can avoid all the traps in the old games.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dark Souls is it may be old and a little decrepit, but its meat is going to taste good. You know that.
It's time for it to go. So
Yeah.
do something new.
Welcome home. This is the best portable game this year.
Oh. I could smoke one of them Samsung cigarettes right now. I bet you they're
Smooth and mild. Yeah,
smooth and mild and full-bodied.
Believe it or not, it's actually Kirby.
Okay, you explain this one. I never played this
Like,
one.
I brought it up and you were like, really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably good. Well, most of these Kirby games, it's just like Nintendo saying, we need to shit out a good game. Alright, just shit out the next Kirby.
Well,
Alright.
they're really like, they're like a smooth and mild Samsung cigarette. They go by in a flash, and they just come and they kind of look the same, but they play differently, and you know they're good.
Yeah, I wonder
Pretty
if there's going to be
consistently.
another Kirby game on the Switch. So if I'm tired with other games, I can just say I'm going to go smoke a Kirby. And I just go get my Kirby game for the Switch, and let's go.
Uh-huh.
And I just smoke it back and open up the windows in the car.
Yeah.
Smoke it. All right.
This one's like they're not popcorn games really either. They got aesthetic, they got unique characters, they got memorable stuff. It's just it's all really easy, you know.
How do you pronounce this?
Planet Robobot.
I was saying Planet Robobot.
Yeah, sure.
Robobot.
That works too. But yeah, they got like a mecha theme this time. The gimmick is that you have a robot, clearly, and
Is it called a Robobot?
and the robot itself has different forms based on your Kirby ability. That makes it like that. It's a little more interesting than the gimmicks of the last few games, and like the influences and the references to mecha anime you see are pretty on point. Generally satisfactory.
Well, there's your handheld game for the year.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So that's it for part 1. Folder 2. Disappoint dollars. Disappoint dollars.
Dollar disappoint.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Oh.
This is the most disappointing thing this year.
Oh god. What is it?
I'm kind of sick of seeing it.
I'm kind of tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
What a low-down, sleazy scum dumpster this guy was to market this piece of garbage off on unsuspecting public.
It's an unfortunate situation, really. Like, they, like this small indie company that had only made mobile games up to this point, made something really ambitious.
Yeah.
And that's great. But then Sony backed it.
Yeah.
They thought they could do better than they did. And then they tried to imply that they did do as well as they thought they were going to. And of course, that caused a bit of a controversy, like the biggest controversy ever.
Everything leading up to marketing, up till the day of launch, regarding the marketing with the game was kind of a lie. Kind of was. It was just like, because every time the main developer sat down in an interview and they asked him, "Can you do this in the game?" he would just be like,
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You will be able to.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I guess. It's just so the hype train was not kept in check properly by anybody in development. So they just let it go crazy until the point where the smoking gun was that in the first release of the game, in the first run of PS4 copies, if you look at the back of the game where it says where normally on a PS4 game where it says if it has multiplayer or not, there's a sticker over it that said it didn't. Like, they put a sticker over the back of the box because even the manufacturers didn't know.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure out if it had multiplayer or not.
Well, like they didn't admit that it doesn't have multiplayer until the very last moment when they realized
it's not in the game, guys.
it's still not working.
It's just not in it. Somebody decompiled it. It's not there. There's no multiplayer functionality.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I didn't give a shit about it from the beginning.
I never gave a shit either. I just assumed that it was going to do what it said it was going to do, because honestly, what it said it was going to do, for the most part, wasn't that revolutionary. You know, it was just a big
It's
procedural.
not revolutionary.
I said
It's
I said it's not that revolutionary.
Yeah.
So what I mean is that it's just really a better looking version of, say, like Nocturne. Or you ever play that really old PC game where it just generates a universe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's not an incredibly new idea, but it looked like it was this time going to be performed with graphical fidelity, right? It looked like it was going to be visually interesting.
Yeah.
And it turned out that it was...
And it was gonna have space battles and shit.
Yeah.
It was gonna have procedurally generated animals, which just turned out to be randomly generated. And
I thought that the game was going to turn out boring, but I thought it was going to deliver.
yeah,
Because I thought the main premise of the game was more boring than people were giving it credit for,
yeah,
right? And then what I wasn't expecting was that it was going to be kind of not delivering, right? And I think people would have found this game a lot better if they just had kept their hype at a realistic level, right?
yeah.
Tried not to get wrapped up in the gigantic subreddit for it and have wild, insane theories about what they're going to do in the game.
Well, it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, these developers could learn a thing or two.
Well, I hope they do.
How about you don't, say you can do anything in your goddamn game
when you?
and promise the world and...
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you're more people should be willing to go from 0 to hero like that. Just make the attempt.
No time flat. Sell the game for $5, right? And clear up some of the ill will you have.
Well,
let people try it, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe people will like it then and warm up to it.
Or just work on it like it's some kind of MMO.
I
and
don't
then
know.
Re-release it later.
I think
that's what they're going for.
I hope they didn't piss off enough people that they're just not going to come back ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck to you guys, but your game was disappointing.
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic. You know what? This whole M10 thing, this is pretty aesthetic in itself.
I know.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Well, it's made by the best developers in the business.
Best in the biz. You know who else is best in the biz? Nintendo.
Yeah. Paper Mario Color Splash. It's got a very good aesthetic.
It looks good.
Looks very nice.
I will never buy it though.
I don't like the direction that the series is going. Not that I've tried it, but based on hearsay, it's not very good. It's probably okay.
This is one of those situations where it makes me think twice about wanting old franchises to stay around.
Yeah.
Because it makes me think about how old franchises like Metroid and F-Zero could be Paper Mario'd. Mm-hmm. In other words, they could be spitting out crap titles with no effort. But maybe they would look good. Paper Mario Color Splash looks good. How do you make this game look bad? It's all paper.
They really own that the paper theme.
Yeah. Maybe they literally do own it.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if you're allowed to...
maybe they patented it.
Yeah, I don't know, but check this game out if you want to see some aesthetics. But you better pick it up for $5, which would be impossible because it's first-party Nintendo.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying is, don't buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Renegade. This is the worst game. Or hold on. Yeah. I just want to make, since there's 3 folders, I just want to make sure. Since we're reaching the end of this is the best game of the year.
Renegade. All right. What is the worst game of this year? You think? What could it possibly be? Could it be the game that's the worst, and everybody knows it? Could it be the big gigantic mammoth in the room? Yeah, it's this thing.
The ancient mechanical elephant in the room.
Yeah. If I had backed this game at this point and my name was in the credits, I would be asking them to take my name off.
God. Yeah, it's really a testament to how even when it looks like things are going to go right, you have the right people, you have the right amount of money, everything's going fine.
Sometimes you can just slip on a banana and you can drop the whole lasagna on the floor upside down and it just goes everywhere.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do, and your parents are watching. Like, it can easily happen. That's why this is, in addition to being the worst game of the year, it's also the most depressing.
Yeah, it's sad.
Even the developers know it.
Oh yeah,
That hurts pretty bad. They're not even smug enough to think it's good. They're just like, oh,
yeah.
this game is what it is. It's the game that single-handedly made everybody think twice about Kickstarter. Good job.
I think they saw it coming a long way in advance because they started new projects in the middle of it.
This is also a case study on how not to handle a Kickstarter, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you want to know how not to do it, just look at the timeline of the Mighty Number 9 devs.
Yeah. It's definitely the worst example of a Kickstarter in history. Well, I mean, except for the obvious scams, but...
I feel bad for all those people that made all the fan art. They were so hyped and donated such a gigantic amount of money to a project that was sure to be good.
Yeah.
When it was announced. How could it go bad? I mean, they had that guy who was from Mega Man, right? That was the guy, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe not. So
this is like Mega Man if it was beat up by a Crazy Diamond, and then it didn't heal quite right. Crazy Diamond was Capcom, and Mighty Number 9 was the end result. He's got like the nose on the back of his head, and he's got his heart in his throat.
The game is very ugly, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's definitely ugly.
They developed this simultaneously for all platforms instead of developing it for PC and then going backwards. It had a simultaneous development on about 20 different platforms.
Yeah,
and it made the game look like slippery shit. It's just crap. The whole thing is crap. I wish it didn't exist.
Oy vey. Now Paragon, this is the best one.
Holy crap. What
However,
game is this?
I wonder.
The game with pretty much nothing wrong with it.
Oh.
You had me there for a second. You had me going.
I figured I had made a mistake.
Yeah, it's Doom 4 or Doom.
Mm-hmm. It's man, Doom 3 came out in 2004. That's more than 10 years.
Did anybody see this coming? I thought this was going to be bad.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be great, especially because they made the dire mistake of releasing the multiplayer beta first, just to get everyone soured on it.
I know.
Just to ruin it.
I know.
And then I played the multiplayer beta first, and I was like, oh, this is going to suck. And then the game came out, and it's the best... What can I say? It's the best FPS single player I've played in so long that it made me question some of the old classics and think if they were good.
Yeah.
Like, it made me think about whether or not I even liked Half-Life.
Well, it was
some of the old great games like that.
It was the same for me, who played through a few. Like, I enjoyed a few of the Serious Sam games.
Yeah. I played those too. Yeah.
And those were
I don't think they're as good as this.
Doom actually. It kind of takes from that arena combat setup, but it's superior.
I don't know
to
how they did
Serious Sam.
it. how did it's like I was thinking when I was playing it, there was multiple times where I was thinking this is the most fun I had in FPS in so long. I can't remember back to when I had more fun.
Yeah.
It's been that long ago. This game is, the second you turn it on, it is non-stop shooting in every direction wildly with no slowdown for about 10 hours. It's just like a light speed fighting. It's ripping and tearing and getting all full of huge guts.
Yeah.
It's the enemy variety is just being slammed down your throat, and you're zooming around looking for item pickups.
Yeah.
And you're shooting so fast, and it is very quick. There's hardly anything wrong with it.
It's a little different than the original Doom.
Oh yeah, it's totally.
It's
totally
like
different.
yeah, it's not. I mean, it adopts the philosophy of the original.
I think what this game,
but it doesn't adopt all the mechanics.
what this game does, and what all good, really, really good reboots do, is it manages to become a microcosm of what the original developers of the old game wanted to do but couldn't do. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, every once in a while there's a remake like that, like the remake of Resident Evil 1, Pac-Man Championship Edition, and this, where it really feels like they went back in time and asked the old devs what they wanted but couldn't do.
Yeah, and that's important. Most importantly, none of the original devs were on this.
Yeah, maybe
Some of them had worked on Quake. Some
Yeah.
of them had come on. Some have been on there for quite a while.
Yeah.
But the original group of developers never
Yeah,
even
that's
touched
right.
this.
Maybe
game.
we're at the point now where it's not automatically a good thing to have the original devs on board. Because I know a lot of developers who have been hanging around since the 80s who are not that good anymore, and they should be out to pasture, right? Like, I'm going to admit that, like, Yoshio Sakamoto, who worked on the original Metroid games, should never be around Metroid again. Like, he should never be allowed in the same room. More or less, John Carmack, he's not really a game developer anymore.
Yeah,
But he was attached to Rage, and that game was kind of... He's not a director, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Keiji Inafune. You can't take him out of Capcom and expect to make him create a good game. It doesn't work like that. You're a piece of a puzzle. Miyamoto,
Oh yeah,
heavily
Miyamoto's
involved
a
in
bit of
Star Fox Zero.
right.
Game was bunk.
Oh, and he's also responsible, allegedly, for what happened to Paper Mario.
Yeah. Miyamoto has a strange habit
He
of...
basically, for those who don't know, he basically walked up to the Paper Mario dev team and said, "This probably doesn't need to be as interesting as it is. We don't need all these characters."
Miyamoto has a strange habit of swooping in on a dev team, telling them to do something a certain way, and they have to do it.
Yeah.
He did it... The last time he was able to do that was back on the GameCube. Since the GameCube, I don't think Miyamoto has been at his A game. I think he's kind of off his rocker.
But we should have learned from George Lucas that...
Yeah, don't blindly listen to people.
Yeah. Just because they're the director doesn't mean they're the sole mind behind something. Like, Doom, it's not John Carmack or John Romero.
Yeah.
It's both of them together.
I was just going to say that.
And the others.
I was just going to say...
Whose names I can't place.
With John Romero, I was thinking you should probably not blindly follow him or John Carmack if you were going to work on
Romero,
I don't know. Like
Romero lost his touch after like the first.
Yeah, he has.
Quake?
I don't know. Like I said, you have to be part of a team, right? People have a tendency to want to offload success onto one person. And we know now that's not really the case. And in fact, you can have an extremely successful game with nobody from the dev team originally there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With Doom, this game was perfect, and it felt like It felt like a reboot, but it also felt like a sequel.
Yeah.
I think it did everything perfect. Everyone should really go play it.
It was also the first game in a long time that had a sequel hook at the end, and it made me think, yes, I want that.
I'm getting that next one. Let's do it. Yeah. The only complaints...
It's also a complete game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It has a real ending.
It feels like it's done.
Yeah. It has final bosses.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah, final bosses. Remember when devs used to finish the game with put a final boss in it and not run out of time?
Remember when a final boss used to, fill the screen with hitboxes, and you don't really know what's going on at first, and you die, and then you figure it out?
One complaint I can make about the game is that I felt that it could have used another weapon or two. I remember when I first played it, it felt like you got all the weapons a little bit too early. Like, it felt like there could have been one or two more in hell in the end.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I can really think of.
It has, like, one extra weapon, I think. One weapon that we haven't seen before, the Gauss gun.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's just the, like, all the basics. And I think they could have taken a risk
Yeah.
and added one more.
They were playing it too safe with the guns. There could have been something, it could have been one good new gun and one wacky new gun that was strange. And that would have been really even, and it would have been fun that way.
But by the nature of upgrades, each gun has like 2 extra functions.
That's another thing that was fun about the game, was that they had light RPG mechanics that you don't have to spend time in the menu thinking about.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't interrupt the game.
Yeah.
It's just enough so that you can craft your path through the game.
Yeah, it's like...
You don't have to actually stop for a long time. It's got the chainsaw, and the chainsaw is implemented in such a way as to not make it overpowered.
Yeah.
It's a desperation move in this game.
Yeah, but also, like, it does a really weird thing with its, like, the health system and stuff. Where, in the first game, if you were surrounded by enemies and you just got, like, gangbanged and your health was at, like, 10%, you would run away. But in this game, you'd run, into the crowd and find a smaller enemy to slaughter for health.
Yeah. Another thing that's interesting about this is that the level design is actually just complex enough as to where some areas will loop back on each other, little secret spots to go to, little crawl spaces with an upgrade in them, things like that, like from old FPSs, is actually in this game. And there's big platforming sections, and it's not really... the game progresses linearly, but the levels themselves aren't exactly a straight line.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a little arena after arena after arena, with little nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
It strikes a really good balance.
Yeah, it's that.
It's also graphically amazing, while at the same time being really fast.
Right.
It looks amazing, and it's not worried to let you not absorb anything. They said, let's make this game look amazing, but let's not slow it down for people to enjoy it. Who cares? They never compromise. Usually if a developer spends a long time in a model, they'll want that to be on screen as long as possible.
Yeah.
But this time they just let you slaughter it in a second.
Yeah, it's cool.
What's this part 3 here? What is this mysterious thing?
Yeah. Okay, there's cheat to win. This is a game that didn't come out in 2016, but we need filler.
So this is something that was played in 2016 but did not come out in 2016.
Here's mine, believe it or not.
Did you buy this?
Yeah, I got this. Like, I was moving around quite a bit one time, and I needed just a game that takes a while. And so I decided to try out Rune Factory. This gets a lot of praise, especially this one. And I see where it's coming from, because, well, it's like Harvest Moon, but with killing and dungeon crawling and stuff. And it's just so open-ended that like it doesn't. It's one of those games that doesn't need balance and autistic min-maxing. Like you can spend like 50 hours just farming, or you can spend it just like killing stuff, and you'll get benefits either way, because you find rare items in the dungeons and stuff, and you get money by farming, but you can also get either by doing either. So like you just do whatever you want forever.
Oh, so
it's just like Harvest Moon, yeah.
Okay, it's a grind 'em up. It's like a slice of life grind 'em up Korean Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I mean, it's if you have a lot of time to blow, then it's definitely some of the best stuff you can ask for. And here's yours.
Wheat to Chin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the one I played in 2016 and finished, even though it didn't come out in 2016. A little bit older than the last one. Yeah, this game. I had already finished the first one in this series for this year, and I played through this one. Probably took me the whole year to beat it, because I tend to play these games like vigorously for a month, put it down for 2 months, vigorously for another month, put it down. Anyway, it took me pretty much the whole year, and I beat this game. And you really got to play the first one first. Like it is literally a sequel in that it takes place after the end of the first one, like immediately. There is no help for you if you didn't play the first one. You absolutely have to play the first one. But this game improves basically on everything the first one did, and it ends up being a very user-friendly entry point into the series, right? If you want to get out of the Persona stuff and you want to play SMT proper, Digital Devil Saga is a great place to do it, because it introduces you to a lot of the battle mechanics without messing you up on Demon Fusion and all that stuff.
That's a good point. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it eschews Demon Fusion and Demon Catching for a skill tree, basically, that every character has. It's kind of a more traditional RPG in that sense, in that you don't need to deal with catching demons. You just level up normally, characters progress normally. The story is impossible to understand. I don't know what happened. I beat it, and I don't know what happened. But it's a great game to sink a lot of time into. It's interesting story-wise with this game and the game before it. Not so much in plot, but in tone and subject matter, and what they deal with, and what they're not afraid to show in these two games.
Yeah, right.
So definitely check that out. What else is going on here these days?
Well, I'm sorry, like...
You're addicted? I'm sorry, I can't stop.
Magistrate is for businesses, so you only have one game.
Oh, okay.
The object of Autistic fucking Color Ball Quest is to get all the autistic fucking balls off the screen. I don't know, how do you do it? Like, what's happening?
You know what? I don't think you can beat it. I think we need to admit that it can't be beaten.
No.
This is probably a game designed to make you focus on your work instead of playing it. Get back to work.
My favorite character is Orange Ball. Okay, another feature of Magistrate 10. 10.1, actually. Were you ever on Windows and you notice that the desktop, Windows Explorer.exe, doesn't have a title bar? That
Yeah.
doesn't have close and maximize and minimize.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, no more. We're done with that. This is 2017 now. You can minimize the desktop. It just keeps going. Like, it has nowhere to minimize to. So
That's good. So
Yeah.
if I ever wanted to have a seizure, I could just have one right there to get out of work.
yeah.
Wow. I like how the hands on the clock stay stationary. That's good.
Oh yeah, that's a feature of the engine.
That's so you can keep telling the time even when you're giving yourself a seizure?
Yep. You can also tell if you had mail.
Huh.
I think you can click on these things too. It's almost as if this was made in Game Maker, and none of these are actual objects.
Of
And
course,
it's just
it's not made in
picture.
Game Maker, folks. This is
No.
a real operating system.
Never.
For adults.
well,
What's internet mail anyway?
you've got mail.
Nothing.
You can just that's just a got mail. notification saying that you got mail. It takes way too much effort to just make a window pop up.
What do all these icons do anyway?
mail. These icons,
Yeah.
none of them do anything.
That's the background.
This is the Internet Explorer.
Okay.
This is the checking your Wi-Fi. This is the terminal simulator. This is Dr. Slump. This is Java, and this is Battleborn. So yeah.
Oh, it comes with Battleborn?
Oh, every distro comes with Battleborn.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Must have had to cut a pretty sweet deal with Gearbox there.
Best game on Linux by far. All right.
Oh, that's 2016. Those are the games that we liked and hated in 2016.
Whoa.